Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head back over to Iceland, and it's been a long time actually since I've reviewed an Icelandic beer, at least a year, maybe even two actually. And for this one we're going to go back to a brewery that you've seen me review a number of things from before. So we're going to go back to Ölvisholt Brugghús, who are from a little town called Selfoss, kind of to the southeast of the capital city Reykjavik, which is in the kind of southwesternish part of the country. And today we're having a taste of their 24, which is an English style barley wine coming in at 10% ABV. The last beer I reviewed from these guys, if I remember correctly, was the Lava, and you know, that's probably their kind of mainstay beer. You know, it's this lovely big kind of smoked imperial stout. It's just a beautiful, beautiful beer. And you know, it's one that you definitely need to try if you get the chance. But very much looking forward to this one. This was another one that was released through the small partiers through Systembolaget here in Sweden, I believe on the 7th of December, if I'm remembering the date correctly. But as I say, very much looking forward to this one. It's cool to return to an Icelandic brewery after quite some time. I know there's a good few other Icelandic breweries have opened up since I was there back in 2014, so I need to get back there and try a few more of these different beers. But very much looking forward to this one. And as always, I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Ölvisholt Brugghús before. Hopefully I can review some more in the fairly near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Icelandic beers that I've reviewed for you. That's being added to whenever I get the opportunity. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. So anyway, on to a little bit about the Ölvisholt Brugghús then, to tell you a little bit from my brewery notes. So as I mentioned to you before, this brewery are based in Selfoss, or just kind of outside of Selfoss, which is to the southeast of the capital city Reykjavik in the southwestern part of Iceland. But this brewery opened up on Jon Gunnlaugson's family farm back in Selfoss in 2008, so they've been going around 10 years actually. But the day before the official inauguration of the brewery, an earthquake registering 6.1 on the Richter scale took over kind of southern Iceland. But the full combi tanks in the brewery were swaying from side to side, but the equipment somehow managed to survive the tremor. And apparently the visitors at this at the opening said that they must be in contact with the Nordic gods because all of their first beers, all of their equipment and things survived. But their first beer was actually called Skafti, which means quake in Icelandic. But next came their lava beer, and also they had the eruption of Eyjafjallajökull, which was the volcano that erupted and took all the air traffic out of the air in northern Europe. And you know, it happened around the same time that they actually did that, which was quite funny. But the brewing capacity of this brewery is about 300 tons, or around 1 million bottles of beer per year, and the brewery is based in an old barn. Their current brewmaster is a woman called Asta Ósk Hlöðvisdóttir, and she's been with the company since 2017, but she's also a chemistry and physics teacher, a bit like me. So yeah, maybe I'll follow in her footsteps at some point soon. But our favourite hop is Simcoe, and our favourite drinking partner apparently is her wife. So yeah, very, very cool. And as you can see, since the last beer I reviewed from Ölvisholt, these guys have undergone a little bit of a rebranding. Their beers before, they've kept the lava beer the same from what I understand. They're still using the same artwork for that because it's a major export product for them, but all their other beers have gone from having these kind of roundel labels to having these kind of white, more, I don't know if you can say, more hipsterish type labels if you like. But yeah, they've changed all their labels, and this one at the Barley Wine is one of their Christmas seasonal beers. So yeah, this is another winter beer. But yeah, really nice little brewery, this one. I really enjoyed my trip that I had to Iceland back in 2014. I'd recommend that country to anyone. Lovely people, and it's one of the most kind of unique landscapes and things that you're ever going to find in the world. You know, take the time to drive all the way around the country. It really is one of the most the most special places that you're going to find in the world, I think. So yeah, really would recommend that. And you've also got some very good craft beer, and it has expanded a little bit since I was there 4 years ago as well. But yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself. If you want to read a little bit more about the brewery, you can check out the brewery website in the description below, and you can follow them on Facebook and Instagram and things like that. But yeah, really looking forward to trying this beer. So I'll let you have a little look at the artwork there before we open it up. There you can see it nicely presented. If I let it zoom in on the thing there is the Ölvisholt Brugghús symbol, and that is of course on the bottle cap for this one too. But yeah, really nicely presented beer. It has a little bit in Icelandic on the side there. Basically it's telling you that they've matured this for 5 months at the brewery and things like that, and it tells you a little bit more about the kind of character of the beer as well, the malt profiles and stuff like this. But yeah, it should be very nice, and it is best before the 17th of October 2023. So they're saying that you can age this for about 5 years. But I really want to try this one. As I say, always very, very curious. I can never get beers and then age them because, you know, I always just want to actually try them and see what they're like. But let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting then. So yeah, nice smoky opening, and we'll get this guy out and into the glass. This one is supposed to be an English barley wine, incidentally, 10% ABV. Of course, we'll get rid of the brewery notes now that we've gone through that part of the video. But yeah, nice looking beer. It's actually quite dark in terms of a barley wine. I have seen ones about this colour before. But yeah, a nice, this one's actually, I don't know how well you can see that on the camera, but this is a really nice, very dark, ruby kind of chestnut, mahogany, more chestnut I would say, very dark ruby-ish chestnut colour of this beer. Not sure how well you can see that behind the camera, but I would say if I pull this up to the light, there is a degree of transparency to this one, but it's also quite hazy. There's a nice thin layer of a frothy, I would say sort of fawn, very slightly beige coloured head on this one. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, a few little ones heading up towards the bottom of that head, and you can see there are little bits of tiny particles floating around in this one. So yeah, there is a little bit of sedimentation in this one, but like I say, overall very, very nice looking beer, and not overly surprising in terms of its appearance for an English barley wine. So as far as I can remember, this is the first barley wine I've tried from Iceland, although I may have had one from Brugghús. I've had imperial stouts and things like that then, so I might well be telling you a lie there. I may well have had a barley wine from Brugghús. But yeah, nice looking beer this one. So let's take a closer look at the aroma and just see how we get on. Yes, that smells lovely. So as you would expect, big brown sugary notes coming out of this beer. It's got a little bit of that treacle molasses kind of thing going on. There's definitely a little bit of that toasty brown sugar, a little bit of the slightly more syrupy treacle and molasses in there. This one does have a good little bit of a bready character to it as well, and I guess it's important to make that kind of distinction between an American barley wine and an English barley wine. The English ones for me are always a little bit more grainy and bready, whereas the American ones are a little bit more sugary sweet, and the fruity character is a little bit different as well. The English fruity character I think is a little bit more cough syrupy, medicinal, whereas the English, whereas the American one is a little bit more sweet and fruity. The English one's a little bit more medicinal. So this one, to me, when you take the aroma of this one in right away, that bready, grainy note that the beer has underneath really does, it straight away screams out English barley wine to me. And that tends to be the thing with these American beer styles. When the Americans take the Scotch ales and things like that, they do have a tendency to make them sweeter and more caramelly and more fruity and stuff like this too. But yeah, that smells nice. As I say, big brown bready notes to this one. A little bit of biscuit in there, some sort of syrupy brown sugars, a little bit of a sweet caramelly note as well. It does have an element of a medicinal quality to the red fruit as well. It's almost like a kind of alcoholic cake or something like that. It does have a little bit of a raisiny sharpness, some figgy notes as well, but it's got this kind of boozy, cakey aroma to it as well, which is nice. Yeah, and you can smell, there's a little bit of the earthy hop in there. I would guess that they've used something like East Kent Golding hops or something along that line in here. You can definitely pick out a little bit of that earthiness, a little bit of that kind of distinctive herbal quality from the from the English hops in there as well, and then a little bit of grassiness. But overall, you know, it smells pretty nice. Nice medicinal, big boozy beer, this one, I reckon, and it has all the things you'd expect in the aroma from an English barley wine. It's cool to try one of these from Iceland. I always enjoy trying these kind of random beer styles from random countries in across the world. So let's see how we get on with this one then. So this one is the 24 from Ölvisholt Brugghús, from just outside of Selfoss in Iceland. Really cool to try an Icelandic beer once again after, you know, quite a long period of absence. Let's get stuck in. Slanja Skal. That's good. Right, straight away, thumbs up to Ölvisholt Brugghús for this one. Well done to Asta for this beer. I'm not sure when they first introduced this beer right enough. They definitely didn't have this, I'm sure, when I was there back in 2014. This one's been introduced sometime since then. But yeah, I like how this one is going together. So let's just try and break this down a little bit. So in the middle of your palate, you can feel there's this sort of grainy quality that's just, it kind of blankets the middle of the tongue there. And on top of that, you start to get a little bit of, that's when the sweetness starts to come out of this one. The further into the aftertaste you go, the more of this sort of grainy quality is there. The brown bready notes are sitting there quite nicely as well, which is good. I mean, it really, this beer, there are some breweries that will say, well, this is an English barley wine, but then you think, right, there's elements of this that are a bit more American, there's elements of it are a bit more English. This one to me is a straight up English barley wine, and that's one of the things I really appreciate about this beer. That said though, I do tend to prefer the English, I do tend to prefer the American barley wines as opposed to the English ones. But this is really, really well done. So there's a nice brown sugary note in the centre of your palate. You can detect that there's a nice sweet caramel in there, a little bit of a kind of toasty brown sugar as well, and that sort of medicinal quality is just kind of mixing in with this beer as well. The further forward you go in your palate, there's a little bit of a woody note for me, and then just behind where the kind of fruity hoppy notes come out, I always talk about this oily bubble on the front of your palate. Just behind that, there's a little bit of a kind of nutty flavour in the centre of the palate, and as you go out towards the sides a bit more, it's a little bit more woody, and some of the grainy flavours are kind of infusing into that. And this beer, I think, the more and more you drink of this one, it does become gradually more grainy rather than anything else. Yeah, I like how this is going together. It's really, this beer is definitely one of these ones where it's all about how these flavours kind of fit together, and this really is very good as a sort of winter warmer beer, if you like. The sort of graininess and the sweetness that it has, and the boozy character as well, really is good. It reminds me a little bit of the winter warmer that I had from Malmgården's brewery in Finland, actually. This beer reminds me a little bit of that, but yeah, really, really nice beer. So again, a big thumbs up to Ölvisholt Brugghús for this one. I'd love to try one that I've never been able to try, I think, is their Mori, which is their red ale. I'd love to have a go at their red ale, because I love red ales. But yeah, that's really, really nice. I like how everything is going together in this one. It does have that kind of almost distinctive traditional English real ale grainy sort of thing about this beer, which is, you know, that's the characteristic thing of English beers for me. I've never been such a massive fan of English traditional beers. I like the stouts, I like the porters and things like that. Some of the barley wines I think can be very good, but I've never been a great fan of bitters and the golden ales and things like this either, or the milds are okay, I guess. But I really like, you know, some of when the countries that don't have a traditional brewing sense, if you like, take these old English styles and do their own interpretation of them, it tends to turn out really quite nicely, actually. So it makes me wonder if I've not been looking in the right place at some of these English traditional beers. So maybe I need to open my mind a little bit about this, and you know, try some of the more traditional English beers a little bit more, because this is very, very nice. If you get the chance to try this beer, I really recommend that you have a look at it. But let's focus on the hoppy side of things now, because we've talked about the malt base already. So on the hoppy side of things then, this beer, nice little bit of earthiness in the back corners of the palate. It does have a good little bit of a darker earthy quality to it, which, like I was saying, is one of these characteristics of the English hops. That spreads out a little bit, it just smooths out as you come further forward. There's a little touch of a herbal quality in there, and then as you get towards the front corners of the palate, it's a little bit more slightly spicy and floral. Then round the very front curve of the tongue, the hoppy qualities to this beer is just a little bit lighter and more grassy, I would say. And then behind the front curve of the tongue, that's where you get some of these nice juicy fruity notes out of the beer. And like I said, the fruity character to this one for me is quite medicinal. Yeah, it's definitely got this element of kind of cough syrupy or like alcoholic cake quality to it. I don't know if that, it's probably phenols, to be honest, that's giving it that little bit of edge. So yeah, for me there's a little bit of that, you know, raisiny sharpness in there. There's a bit of the figgy qualities as well, but it has that kind of cough syrupy element to it as well. It's almost like it's got a kind of datey cake kind of element to it, and the further into the aftertaste you go, it does become a little bit more candied. You do get a little bit of that kind of heart, you know, the heart-shaped sweets out of the Haribo Star Mix. It does have that kind of almost candied strawberry flavour to it the further into the aftertaste you go. But with that aftertaste, as I say, you've got these nice kind of bready, slightly grainy notes and a bit of the brown sugar in there as well. It really does retain that kind of more grainy, that classic grainy English feel to it, which is very, very nice. I really like how this beer is going together. So if you get the chance to try this, I highly recommend that you do. This is one of the better English barley wines that I've come across in recent times. So if you like the English barley wine category, then don't be afraid to give this a go. It's really good, and I think you can order this one still on Systembolaget. So yeah, you will enjoy this one if you get the chance. But yeah, in terms of the mouthfeel then, I think this beer is pretty full-bodied. Yeah, full-bodied beer. At the same time though, when you talk about these Icelandic beers, one of the things that I always found was quite distinctive about Icelandic beer was the fact that the water is very, very pure up there. It has this minerally element to it, and the beers always taste, I guess it's fair to say the beers taste very clean. So it is a full-bodied beer, but it does feel a little bit lighter and a little bit different from the same kind of beer that you would get from different countries, if that makes sense. But yeah, nice full-bodied beer, this one. Carbonation's very smooth. Overall the mouthfeel is quite oily, but as I say, the minerally quality of the water that you get helps kind of make the beer feel just a little bit lighter. Good little bit of hoppy bitterness in this beer. I would guess it's somewhere around the 30-40 IBU mark, not overpowering. Nice balance of sweetness in the malt base, but there is a little bit of grainy bitterness pushing out in this one, and that comes out further into the aftertaste, and there's a nice little bit of a fruity, juicy quality to the beer as well. But like I said, overall, in terms of an English barley wine, they've done a damn good job with this one, so really glad I was able to review this for you. And I wish we could get more Icelandic beers here in Sweden, or you know, maybe I just need to go there and visit and try a few more of the new things there. But if you're watching from Iceland, do please let me know some of the other little microbreweries and stuff that I need to check out, and as I say, hopefully I can get back up there at some point fairly soon. So, but yeah, this is a lovely, lovely beer. If you like the English barley wine style, I'm sure you will definitely enjoy this one, but let's leave it at that for this. So this one is the number 24, an English style barley wine at 10% ABV from Ölvisholt Brugghús in Selfoss up in Iceland. Really glad I was able to review this, and I hope you guys have enjoyed my take on this one. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Ölvisholt Brugghús as well. Do let me know some other Icelandic beers that I should check out. I was last there in 2014, as I said, so I know there's more things have been released since then, and it'd be great to hear from you guys what I really need need to try. But thanks again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. Make sure you check out some of the Ölvisholt beers, and I do recommend that you go and visit Iceland if you get the chance. Lovely English barley wine this, and I will catch you guys soon, hopefully very soon, with some more Icelandic beer reviews. Until the next time, slán just now, and I'll catch you guys later. Skål.